raise your right hand. Do you solemnly swear affirm testimony about giving this matter the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth, self you got?
I do, Your Honor.
Please be seated in that black chair. Face the judges of the facts. That's done. Now take that microphone. Can I get assistance on that? And pull it close to your mouth. Just sit all the way back. Sit all the way back. I'm sorry. My deputy's going to assist you. All right, very good. Okay, state your name for the record.
Patrick Donald Webb.
Okay. Spell your first name and your last name.
Patrick Webb.
Okay.
May I inquire, Your Honor?
You may.
Thank you. Mr. Webb, how old are you for the record today?
I'm 45-year-old.
Mr. Webb, do you know someone by the name of Robert Bashara?
Yes, sir, I do.
Do you see where Mr. Bashara is in court today?
Yes, I do, Your Honor. Or your sir.
No, that's not Your Honor.
No, that's Your Honor. I'm just Mr. Moran. Okay. Big difference there, Mr. Webb. Could you point out where you see Mr. Bashara in court today?
He's sitting right there.
Your Honor, may the record reflect what
Yes,
this
so
is.
reflect.
Thank you. How was it you first met the defendant, Mr. Bashara?
I met him at a private party that I was hosting.
Tell me about how it was that you met him at this private party.
I hosted BDSM parties at a fraternity house I was running at the time. Sent out invitations to those in the community, and his girlfriend or slave at the time, Rachel Gillette, responded back to me.
At the time, when was that, sir?
That was in 2009.
And you said that you had a place that you hosted parties?
Yes, sir, I did.
Where was that located, Mr. Webb?
That was located at 12710 Wanty Road.
In what city?
Wanty.
Wanty, W-A-N-T-Y.
Okay.
That's in Milan, Michigan.
And was that, you said it was a fraternity house?
It was a big two-story house, yes, sir.
And you indicated that you had BDSM parties at that location?
Yes, sir, I did.
You also said that you sent out invitations. How did you do that?
Through the emails.
Okay. And is there an email or websites or blogs that you would normally send out those invitations?
There was Yahoo groups as well as FetLife.
Okay.
FetLife.
FetLife is a website that caters to people with different interests.
Okay.
So when you were getting ready to host this party at your location there, you sent out these invitations on these various websites?
Yes, sir.
And was that your standard practice for inviting people to these types of lifestyle parties?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now you indicated that sometime in 2009 you decided to have a party, you sent out invitations, and you said that's how you met Mr. Bashara, correct?
Yes, sir.
Did you know Mr. Bashara or have any contact with him prior to meeting him at one of those parties?
Never.
Okay. So, did he show up at one of your parties?
Yes, sir, he did.
And was he alone or was he with anyone else?
He brought Rachel.
Rachel. Had you ever met Rachel before that day?
No, sir.
Okay. Did you communicate with Rachel on one of those websites or through a blog or anything?
Through Yahoo Chat, she was known as I Am What I Am, and it was all the correspondence was done through Yahoo Chat.
Okay. So you sent out the invitations. Rachel and the defendant show up together, correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And that's for one of your parties, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And you said this was sometime in 2009.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now, is that the first time you met the defendant?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And did you know the defendant by any nicknames, or did he prefer to be called something?
Through the chats with Rachel, and upon his entering, he was known as Master Bob.
Okay. And is that a term of like endearment for people in the BDM lifestyle?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And do you have a term that you go by, sir?
They referred to me as Sir Patrick.
Sir Patrick. Okay. And how about Rachel? Did Rachel have a term that she was referred to?
Princess, I'm having a...
Let me ask you this question.
Yes, ma'am.
There's a difference. Is there a difference in distinction between being a sir and a master? Or is it just a name?
It's the way they perceive themselves. I'm not a master of anybody. I just wanted a little bit of respect since I threw the party.
So, who names you? Do you name yourself?
It was just given to me. I didn't name myself. It was just a nickname or...
Cut that phone off. So it's not like something like a fraternity where you have to go in there and earn the sir or the master. It's just something you just call yourself.
This is... the more you get, they call it earning your leathers or earning your stripes, however. It all depends on your personal perspective, how you want to be perceived. I'm sorry, ma'am, or Your Honor. If you want to be called master, then out of respect, we call you master or mistress or madam.
It's whatever you call yourself.
Yes, ma'am.
But it's not like you got to earn this distinction.
As within any community, you gain respect through your actions. I mean.
Okay, let me just ask this question, a last question.
No, go ahead.
So it's like, is it like karate, where you start out with a white belt and you end up with a black belt? Do you get to earn your way up?
No, there's no protocol on advancement. No.
Okay, very good. Okay, great. Go ahead.
So there's no badge system where you first start as a sir and then move up? Okay.
No, sir.
It's just what you want to be called.
Yes, sir.
And you were comfortable, Mr. Webb, being called sir, correct?
Yeah. Yes.
So when you met Rachel and you met the defendant, he was known as Master Bob.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now you were telling us about nicknames for Rachel. What was Rachel called then?
A lot of us were just referred to her as Princess, Bob's Princess. I am what I am. That was her name that I met. That was the name I knew her on the computer. When I seen her in real life or at the parties, I just called her Rachel.
Hey, I got one last question. When you said you have to earn your leathers, what does that mean?
At the parties, there's a protocol to follow. If there's a man or a woman sitting with a group of people, and he or she is the head of that household, knowing the protocol, you just can't go up and talk to one of the people in the household without asking permission from him or her that's in there. It's a sign of respect.
Okay.
And you violate that, and then it's showing the other people you have no respect for the agreements that those people have within that family or within that group, and you will be excluded from private parties or even public gatherings that they have.
Okay.
Well, so what does it mean to earn your leathers? Is that the phrase?
It's the way that a master or a dominant would conduct himself with the slaves. If you're too rough, if you don't follow safety precautions, depending on what type of play you might be in, if you put other people at harm by not controlling your play, you lose respect in the community quickly. I mean, if a master's out there swinging a whip, or if a lady is out there swinging a whip, and she isn't observing the people around her, it's a disrespect to everyone at the party. If you go too far, if the slave gives a safe word and you take them beyond that, you lose respect in the community because you didn't honor the trust that the slave gave you.
So despite the fact that there is force that's used, abuse is not allowed?
Abuse is not allowed. This BDSM, it's not per se abuse of power. The power lies within the submissive, whether it be male or female. The power, they control the scene. And when they say stop, it stops.
Okay.
Where does the power lie then if it's not an abuse?
No, you're saying that you can't abuse someone.
Correct.
Is that correct?
Yes, you can abuse them if you have them tied up and they give you the safe word and you hit them one more time beyond that safe word, you have abused them.
Exactly, but abuse is not allowed.
Exactly, abuse is not allowed.
Okay, but you're saying the power lies within the submissive because that person determines how much discipline they receive. Is that correct?
Exactly.
Okay.
Okay. So the power then, if I understand your testimony, Mr. Webb, lies with the relationship between the dominant and the submissive person. So is that fair to say?
That is the way that I've always explained it, and that's the way I've always conducted myself. Yes, sir.
Okay.
Okay.
So a sir or a master would be the dominant person in the relationship. Is that fair?
That's dominant, yes, but the power lies with the submissive.
And you use the word slaves. Are those typically the submissive people?
I'm being candid here. You can call them slaves,
Say whatever they call.
Slaves, sluts, whores, wimps, sissy boys, any type of abuse is either physical or mental or humiliation. Some people like humiliation. I've seen a lot of things go on. I may not understand it. I may not even prefer it myself, but
his question was, what were the submissive, what are their names? And that's basically what you said.
So there's different terms to call them.
yes, sir.
Terms of endearment.
Yes, sir.
So the
Or
doc-
yes, Your Honor.
So dominant individuals have different names, master, sir, whatever, and the submissive ones have different names too, depending on the relationship. Is that fair to say?
Yes, sir.
Okay, and every role is different. Is that fair to say?
That is it perfectly. There are switches. There are dominants that will switch and become submissive.
Okay, fair enough. Now, during the course of your relationship or friendship with the defendant, about how many times did you have contact with him?
At the Winer Roadhouse, he came to about 6 or 8 of them parties.
Did he ever come by himself?
No, I can't recall him ever showing up by himself.
And when he came, was Rachel always with him when he came to your parties?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And you said 6 or 7 at those parties?
6 or 7 of those parties at Winer Road, yes, sir.
Did something happen at the Winding Road venue that caused you to stop having parties there?
The house burned down. I didn't live there. Somehow there was a fire, and the house burnt down.
And after the house burned down, did you and the defendant have conversations about establishing another location?
Yes, we met a couple of times. He had a party down in his dungeon.
He being, didn't say his name.
Mr. Bashara, had a party down at his dungeon, and it was brought up because I had the property and I had a nice building. What was the odds of me putting a club in the back of behind my house?
Let me stop you there, Mr. Webb. Did you go to the party that Mr. Bashara had in his dungeon?
Yes, sir.
And where was that dungeon?
That was below a club of his. It was down in the basement, below the Hard Luck Cafe, I think it was called.
And was that in the city of Grosse Pointe?
Yes, sir.
And how many times did you travel or attend parties at his dungeon?
I've only attended one party at his dungeon.
Have you been there before the party?
Not before that, no, sir.
How about after that? Were you there?
After that, I was there a couple of times, yes, sir.
But not for parties?
No, sir.
Okay. So you said that at that party you attended with him at his dungeon in Grosse Pointe, you and he had a conversation about developing another location?
Yes, sir.
Tell me about that.
He asked, since I had the property and I had a real nice building behind the property, big building, 85 feet wide by 120 feet long. He asked what was the odds of putting a club in the building. And I told him I'd have to think about it. But I'm thinking about it. I've looked at my finances. I had enough money for everything above the concrete. I didn't have the money for the concrete itself.
I got a question. When you hosted these parties, do you charge to come into the party?
It's not a charge per se, Your Honor. It's a donation. And recommended donation was $50 a couple.
Okay, all right.
Okay. So you indicated that after you looked at it, you realized you could afford it from the ground up, but from the concrete below, you couldn't afford that.
Exactly.
Did you talk to the defendant about that?
Yes, sir.
Tell me about that.
He told me if I had the money for everything above the concrete, that he would go ahead and help me out with the concrete, and I could pay him back.
Okay.
And I said, great. So he wanted to know for sure that I had the money for above the concrete, or for the stuff to build the club with. So I had it ordered, delivered, and I did all the groundwork of putting in the plumbing and the stuff before the concrete was poured. And I posted pictures of these items on my website on FetLife to show that I was serious. Prior to the day before the concrete was to be poured, I did call Bob Bashara to ask him, are we still good to go on concrete? Can I count on you? He said, yes, sir.
Okay. So based on that representation, you went ahead and got the concrete poured and started building your
Exactly.
And did you finish the location?
Yes, I did.
Did you have a name for that location?
The A2 Reformatory,
The A2, what's A2 stand for?
Ann Arbor.
Ann Arbor Reformatory.
Yep.
Yes?
Yes, sir.
Okay, all right. And that was based after the conversation you had with the defendant about him paying for the construction, or the concrete?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so you went ahead and did it, got it built. What happened?
I called Bob Bashara after the concrete was poured, told him I need the money. I wrote checks that I don't have the money for in my account. I need the money.
And what did he tell you?
He gave me a story that he had a renter move out, that his wife wasn't cool with the loan idea, and basically said no to the money. He said he couldn't help me out at that time, but he'd help me out along the way whenever he could, however he could.
Now, when you say at that time, what time period are we talking about, Mr. Webb?
Well, the house burnt down on April 1st.
Of what year?
That would have been 2010. No, 2009. 2009. And I started construction on the new building in July, I believe, because I had an opening date, a promised opening date of Labor Day.
And we're talking about 2009? I'm sorry, sir.
I'm sorry.
That would have been 2009.
Okay. So the conversations that you had with the defendant about helping you pay for the concrete costs, that was in 2009.
Yes, sir.
And what month was that?
That would have been in July.
Okay. And he told you that his wife wasn't good with the loan at this time?
Yes, sir.
Did he say anything else about having any difficulties at his home?
Any difficulties at his home? No, other than he did when I was at the party down in his dungeon. I do recall him saying that his wife wasn't cool.
Oh, we'll get to that in a second. I'm just talking about the loan itself. He told you it wasn't a good time financially, and that his wife wouldn't approve the loan.
Yes, sir.
Did he say anything else at that time in that conversation about having any troubles at home?
No, sir.
Okay, all right. Now, did you know when you developed this relationship with Mr. Bashara that he was in fact married?
Yes, later, towards the last part of him attending the parties on Wanning Road, I did find out that he was married. Found out he was married when I attended the party, and confirmed that he was married when he was down in when he had the party down in his personal space.
And that was at his dungeon?
Yes, sir.
Tell me about how you learned that.
We were after the party. We were sitting around having a couple of drinks. There was a group of us down there, and he had actually invited me and my wife to come spend the night at his house, and I declined because I knew his wife wasn't cool with the idea, and I didn't know what story he was telling his wife or anything like that, but I didn't want to have any type of confrontation.
How did you know that his wife wasn't cool with, in your words, what he was doing?
He was real hush-hush. He was always concerned about his private affairs being known out in public.
Okay. Did he ever tell you that his wife didn't know what he was doing? Words to that effect?
Not those words, no, sir.
All right, fair enough. All right. So he invited you to come over and spend the night, and you declined because you knew that he was married.
Yes, sir.
And you didn't have to have any confrontation with his wife at that time.
Right.
Okay. Now, moving back to the area of the concrete.
I'm trying to rack my. I said that was in 2009. It may have been in 2010. I don't want to get hung up there on perjury or something like that.
Okay.
But it was. I am sure of the months. I'm just not sure if it was.
Before I move off that topic, though, I want to ask you: Did he ever say anything about what would happen to him if he found out his wife found out what he was doing?
It was known that she'd be upset.
Okay. Did he ever indicate that he would be in big trouble if she found out about his lifestyle and Rachel?
Objection to leave.
Okay, I'll ask it again. Did he ever say anything about the consequence of his wife finding out?
He did say he didn't want to be outed in his community. He was really paranoid over any pictures being taken of him, and he did not want anything publicized.
Specifically, I want to talk about if he ever said anything about if his wife found out. Did he ever say that?
Yeah, I can't give you the exact time, but yes, he has mentioned that he has to keep these things private from his wife, that he doesn't want his home life wrecked by this.
May I approach the witness, Ron?
You may, sir.
I'm going to hand you what's your 9 pieces of paper, sir. Actually, take a look at that.
Have you had an opportunity to view this document, Counselor Long? Excuse me, I'm sorry.
With the statement?
Oh, yes, no.
Yes, Your Honor, I have.
No, that was to the,
Yeah, sorry, Mr. Webb. Is that in fact a copy of a statement that you gave to the Detective Williams on or about April 23rd, 2012?
Yes, sir.
And that was a statement, did you tell him the truth?
Yes, sir.
I'm going to draw your attention to page 4 of that statement, sir. The first question on the top of page 4. Just read that to yourself if you're ready.
Yes, I did say that.
Okay.
And I did hear him say that, yes, sir.
So, does that refresh your memory, sir, about statements that the defendant may have said about what would happen to him if his wife found out about his lifestyle?
Yes, sir.
What did he tell you?
He said that he had kids in college. His wife wasn't into the lifestyle, and it was a.
so you can read from it. You can't read from it.
No, I'm not reading from that paper. I'm sorry.
What else did he say?
He said that his wife, he would be in big trouble with his wife. That she wouldn't understand, and she wouldn't condone it.
Fair enough. Now, moving back to the area of the concrete, sir, you indicated that he did not pay or did not reimburse you for the cost of concrete, yes?
That is correct. He wasn't going to pay for the concrete. It was an agreement that he would pay for it, and then I would pay him back. It was just going to be a loan for it. I mean, he wasn't going to be part owner of the club or anything like that. It was just an agreement that he'd pay for the concrete, and I'd pay him back for it.
Okay. Did that put a strain on your relationship with the defendant?
I wasn't happy with him, but I wasn't happy with the fact, but since I have all this money invested, I went ahead and made arrangements to satisfy the concrete company, and I still kept him coming. He still came as my guest at the parties, yes.
I got a question. Now, you indicated that his dungeon was his private space. What do you mean by that?
It was his private space. It was, if he had parties there, the party I went to, it was a close gathering of friends, and we were invited by him personally.
Did you have to provide a donation?
No, ma'am.
Okay. And so this dungeon, is it just like a basement?
It's a basement, but it's set up the color scheme, and there was items down there, equipment. There was a piece of equipment I built for the defendant down there. It was some of the furniture that you have in a dungeon. You just can't buy it at Lazy Boy.
Oh, okay. So this is like you know they have the term man cave. This is different.
Oh, it was his man cave. It was.
Okay.
That's exactly what you call it.
But there's dungeon to use specifications of things that are contained there.
Exactly, Your Honor.
Okay. Whereas what you said that you had, it was not a dungeon. It just was a BDSM party at a fraternity house. There's a difference.
At the fraternity house, I built a lot of specialized equipment.
But it wasn't a dungeon. Was it called that word, dungeon?
No.
Oh. Go ahead, guys.
I think you were telling us, Mr. Webb, that after you had the reformatory built, the A2 reformatory, you and Mr. Bashara continued to have a relationship even though he didn't pay the money for the concrete. Fair enough?
Yes, that is.
Did he ever come to the A2 reformatory, Mr. Bashara?
Yes, sir, he did.
And when he came, was he in the company of Rachel?
He was in the company of Rachel, yes. He brought other friends with him. That was it. Other friends that he'd met in the community. He brought a fellow, I can't remember his name per se, but I know he had a role in the Green Door.
The Green Door,
What's that?
That's a very old adult movie. He had some sort of financial ties with the adult movie industry, and
This was an individual that Mr. Bashara bought to one of your reformatory parties?
yes, sir.
Okay.
And that person owned the green room?
No, he bragged about being part of the production of the movie The Green Door.
Who is he?
Behind the Green Door is the actual name
You
of
said
it.
he. Who are you referring to?
This was a gentleman that showed up with Mr. Bashara, and they both had guests, female guests.
Oh, okay, very good. Okay, good.
About how many times did he come to the A2 reformatory, if you know?
Dozens. He was there dozens of times. I threw a party every week, and he was there at least once a month.
Now, sometime I want to move forward to a time when you were having some financial problems. About when was that, sir?
That was, I really started getting strained November and December of 2011.
What happened that made you strained?
With me paying the paying for the concrete to satisfy the concrete company and the checks, I had to let my mortgage go. That was the right thing to do. I figured somebody or some way I'd find the money to be able to keep my home. I did call Bashara up in those months, saying, "Man, you got to help me. I mean, you got to help me get some money here."
Now, why would you call the defendant and ask for money?
He's in my dealings. He always portrayed himself as having money. He said he knew people that could help me out, whether they be loan sharks or whatever. We weren't talking about a lot of money compared to what I could afford. I mean, we're only talking $88,000, and he said he would try to put it across to some of his friends as a social club, and he did try. I met with him and Rachel for him to try to get the money, but it never came to fruition.
So that was in, you say, December of 2011, thereabouts?
Yes, early part of December.
And you actually met with the defendant and Rachel and asked them to help you with the money?
Yes.
Did he say anything to you in December of 2011 about possibly planning to help you out in the future?
Yeah, it was in the early part of December. I met with Bob and Rachel. I even believe that meeting was at the Good Luck Club, or the Hard Luck Club.
That's the one in Grosse Pointe?
Right.
Yes.
We had a little lunch there, and I told him my situation, and he said he'd like to help me out. He wants to help me out. He just doesn't have the money at this time, but he's going to be coming into some money soon.
Were those the words the defendant used?
Those were the exact words the defendant used.
And this is in December of 2011?
Yes, sir.
Did you take that as a positive sign that maybe he'd help you out in the future?
If you could get it before December 14th, I took it as a positive sign.
But you never got any money from the defendant?
No, sir.
You told us that Mr. Bashara would brag about his connections in the community. Did he do that at the reformatory and at the first club you had?
Yes, Your Honor, or yes, sir. I'm sorry.
That's all right.
Yes, sir. At one of the parties I was throwing, I was hosting. The parties ran from 8 o'clock on Saturday to noon on Sunday, and Bob had gotten a room to spend the night there. He had gotten upset because.
Hold off on that. So these people would come, or potentially your guests would come from 8 o'clock at night on one night and stay until the next day.
8 o'clock on Saturday, 8 p.m. on Saturday till noon on Sunday, Your Honor.
Okay, so they'd be overnight.
Yes, Your Honor.
So you could get a room in your facility?
There were storage rooms. I mean, I stored some extra beds in there, but yeah.
Okay, so if a person lived a long way away, they could say, I want to get a room here, and it would be maybe a storage facility with a bed, and then you give you a donation for that?
Yeah. Yes, Your Honor.
You were telling us about one time when he was bragging about some connections. Go ahead.
The music was playing. There was people come to let their hair down. They live their life Monday through Friday. On Saturday, they want to let their hair down. They're allowed to do so. So there was people. There wasn't very many left, but there was a few people still partying, still playing. And Bob was trying to sleep. And he got upset, and he come out and said he's leaving, that I won't turn down the damn music, and he's out of here. And me and him got into a discussion. It got heated. I told him I'd kick his ass. And he said, "You're going to kick my ass?" I said, "Yeah." He goes, "You don't know the people I know." And I said, "Well, they ain't here right now."
Okay. Did you said you knew that Mr. Bashara was married, correct?
Yes, sir.
Did he ever discuss with you the problems with his marriage?
No.
I'm going to draw your attention back to that same statement you gave. May I approach the witness again, Your Honor?
I'm sorry.
Yes. This is the statement, counsel. April 23rd, 2012, 9-page statement. So if I'm going to direct your attention, that's just one page. To page top of page 8. Just read that to yourself if you're here, sir. Oh, they gave him the wrong page? I gave him the wrong page. That's what I gave him. I'm sorry. It's page 7, is it, Mr. Webb?
Yes,
I
yes,
said
sir.
page 8, but I was wrong. Did you have a chance to read that to yourself, sir?
Yes, sir.
Does that refresh your memory about any discussion or any comments Mr. Bashara may have made about his marriage situation?
It was in the morning, one morning that he was there at the club, and we were sitting around. We still were having some drinks, and he felt that he wanted to do more with the lifestyle, but he felt trapped with Jane and with his wife. He didn't use her name. I never knew her name until I seen it on the news.
He would say his wife.
Yeah.
Did he use the words that he felt trapped in his marriage?
Yeah, because he did say that he felt trapped in the marriage, that he wanted to do more in the BDSM community.
And this is at the morning after spending the night in the lifestyle. Is that right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And he also indicated not only did he want to spend more time in the lifestyle, he also wanted to spend more time with his girlfriend. Okay?
Yes, sir.
And that was part of the lifestyle. Right. He also tell you that.
He didn't call her his girlfriend, did he?
No, Slave Rachel.
Did he also indicate to you at that conversation that he would lie to his wife about his girlfriends and his lifestyle?
Well, please.
All right. What did he tell you? I'll rephrase the question. What did he tell you? He told his wife about the situation.
About what situation?
About his lifestyle, his girlfriends, about being trapped.
That she wouldn't understand, for one, if I'm missing something again, it was, when you get to know somebody, you know that things aren't going quite as...
So you guess that he wasn't happy, is that correct?
No, it was clear.
Take a look at that same question and answer, Mr. Webb. Don't read it out loud.
Page.
I'm saving page 7.
That is correct.